We're going to go through things that are working, things that are not working. What can you use to convert and get customers in 2025? Because, truly the hardest thing about all of this is between algorithms changing, software, AI, and people's just appetite for how they're going to consume content and look. And, email was a pain in the ass, and now millennials love email. Direct mail was a pain, and now people like getting stuff in the mail sometimes. And everything changes so quickly. We're going to run through kind of one at a time and what's working for who. Hey everyone, unfortunately we did not win the lottery last weekend, so welcome to another episode of Where Brands Get Their Edge. We are joined with Joe Fuld with the Campaign Workshop today, and Amanda and I are trying to focus on bringing you people who know a lot about marketing and happen to be funny to keep you entertained. Welcome, Joe.
Well, it's nice to hear you. I don't always believe you think I'm funny, but it is nice to hear you say that, Borzou.
Oh, I think you're funny.
I mean, you get up on stage and do comedy.
I do, but again, we've also seen a lot of people who get up on stage and do comedy who are not funny at all, like not throwing shade. But
this was not on my list for today, but the business of trying to turn people into stand-up comedians has had some negative side effects. We've had some misses.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
For effort, maybe. I mean, it's a fear. People want to overcome fears, and maybe then they should just do it the once.
I mean, to me, so we'll dig into this topic, but it is about the writing, right? And sometimes I think people believe that getting up on stage is just something you're going to come up with off the top of your head, and it's not. And so
I was thinking the same thing. He's talking about me.
I don't think I'm talking about you. But if you were a good writer, right, like you can then usually take that and translate that to stage. If you are not a good writer, it's very hard. It's really hard to do that. And I think, the best comedians are good writers.
I agree with that.
I think it's at least half delivery. What was that? George Sanchez? He was a great comedian. He stole all his material from good writers.
No, that you're talking about like a politician. You just said George wasn't.
Who is?
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name right now. Anyway.
Are you talking about George Carlin?
No.
George Carlin was the GOAT. No, George Carlin was the GOAT. Should we?
Well, while you're doing that, I agree that it's like a lot delivery as well, because there are a whole bunch of comedians making an entire career out of crowd work. And so that is not writing, by the way. It's mostly reacting and it's mostly making fun of people. But if you're quick on your feet and you have good delivery, you can do really well that way. So I agree.
George Lopez.
Is it George
That's who
Lopez?
I was looking for. 100. I Googled it. It's George Lopez. He had a TV show.
Yes.
He very famously, Joe Rogan used to call him out for stealing other people's bits.
It was like Carlos Mencia. That's who it was. Carlos Mencia was. Oh my gosh.
George Lopez is who I was thinking of, but
Carlos
Mencia is the one who stole.
I can't believe we're on this tangent, but he's the one that was actually stealing other comedians' material.
I have lost this tangent completely, but I'm glad you both are on it. It's good.
Don't worry. Well, when we edit it, we'll put little videos on top with the people's faces, so it all makes sense to everyone.
Phenomenal.
Apologies to George Lopez and his fan base.
We've corrected.
Carlos Mencia made a ton of money, so I don't feel bad for him.
And he got really sick.
And which is always a win. And so we're going to do George Sanchez or no? Because he's going to prison, and that is just entertaining. I learned recently that if you get under 4 years, you get to go to cupcake white collar prison. And if you get over 4, you go to the real slammer, and that's where George is going.
It has nothing to do with what you actually did. It's just
both. Both. If it's a white collar crime and you're under 4 years, then you can go to cupcake camp. If it's over 4 years, you still go to the real prison. Ask me how I know.
Good to know.
Don't ask me how I know.
What was this podcast actually about?
I don't know what this podcast is about, but I'm quite intrigued.
Well, this is a nice place for where everyone intersects. We all think we're hilarious. Amanda does stand up regularly. Joe, do you still do it often?
I do stand up about once a year now. Like I
have
a set show that I do in the spring that that I keep trying to get Amanda to do with me, and one of these days it will actually happen. But I do that. I'd like to do more. It's just time and life and I still write more, do it as a way to, like, some people journal. I write stand-up comedy about my life as a way to, like, get things out, and I still do that, so I likely have more material than I will ever perform.
A question for you, Joe. Where do you keep that? Like, I use the Notes app, and that's really what all that, because I need to have it available at all times, and that seems like the easiest catch-all. What do you do?
So the Notes app is great because often what I'll do is, like, in a tangent, I will, like, talk about what the story is, and then I'll edit the story. Like, I love the Apple Notes app on my phone, and do that, use that a lot, or the voice memo like you're doing right now. Yep.
Yeah.
I use voice memos, and that's a lot of fun to do that. And then sometimes, like, I usually have, like, a stack of, like, old envelopes I can't use, and I write shit on the back of envelopes, and I have a stack of them, and I kind of go through notes, and then I'll talk about it. So whatever I can do to get it out of my head, like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and write a few thoughts down, and yeah.
Like the Joan Rivers way, she did everything on an index card. Every joke was on a different index card.
I mean, that's all I had back then.
That to me is, my handwriting is awful, and I don't know that I could fit it on an index card. So, but yeah.
And the other reason we are all together is Joe runs Campaign Workshop, does marketing for advocacy for really big organizations. We do marketing for SMBs mostly, and we're all running small businesses and marketing for them. So we're going to go through things that are working, things that are not working. What can you use to convert and get customers in 2025? Because, truly the hardest thing about all of this is between algorithms changing, software, AI, and people's just appetite for how they're going to consume content and look. And, email was a pain in the ass, and now millennials love email. Direct mail was a pain, and now people like getting stuff in the mail sometimes. And everything changes so quickly. We're going to run through kind of one at a time and what's working for who. And
love it. Can't wait.
Joe, where are you with email?
So we still do a ton of email to promote the business, and then works very well. Our open rates are really good. I think the issue that we have in the land of email, and I'll give you the email challenge, is the action rates on emails have gotten perpetually lower. So, like, we get a lot of really good open rates. Our open rates for the campaign workshop on our list is about 65%, but our action rates, right? No, we have a really, I
didn't know what you were going to say, but that is really good.
It is really good, but our action rates are low.
That's like a not that bad deliverability rate.
Yeah,
about open rate. Yeah.
So
I'll get to the action, right? Like, people who are action takers who then, like, come off the email and then will, like, sign up for something, or like go to the, like, page behind it, say, go check out this ebook, go check out this page. On our emails, those action rates are anywhere from like 6% is, like, knocking down the doors really high, but a lot of them are in that 1 or 2% range. So it's between that, like, 1 and 6% range that we're getting those action rates. It used to be a lot higher, right, back in the day. I think, like, it is low right now.
I mean, 6% is a fine engagement rate. I mean, it's good. It seems even better if it's 6% of the 60-something% open rate.
It is.
Usually, because we're usually looking at 6% of, 20-something, and that's still really good open rate. 20-something%. And if you're over 30%, that's killer. So, tell us your secrets.
Well, the secret is an organic list that we built over time that I think two things. One, consistency. Our email is consistent. We are emailing on a weekly basis. Like,
by the way,
for whatever reason, we send our emails
Saturday. You can't see it, but Amanda's
Saturday,
sending darts at me with her eyes right now.
Saturday mornings. Right? We do our stuff on Saturday mornings, believe it or not. Saturday mornings is, like, to use a Seinfeldism, it's comedy gold, Jerry. Comedy gold. It is gold, right? To, like, whatever. Are people opening this stuff over the weekends, looking at it. We also have a really thoughtful audience that we've built over time, a thoughtful list that we've built over time. I think that it's not a massively big list for our company. It's about, I'd say, somewhere around 4,500 people for our, is what our list of people is, but it's solid. We have pop-ups on the website. We get signups from that. We probably get about, like, 10 people who sign up a week, right? Like not setting the world on fire, but it's 10 a week, 40 a
That's
month,
pretty great, Joe.
right?
Where
Yes.
where are they signing up from specifically?
So we have built so I love these. I'm happy to dig in. So first, we've done a long-term search engine optimization strategy. I'm just SEO for the folks in the biz, right? Like we have done over time. So all of our posts are optimized for keywords. We rank for like in the top like 10 on Google for like hundreds of keywords. So people find us, look at our content, then they'll go to the homepage or they'll like look at the bottom of the post that they looked at through a Google search. A lot of our stuff is coming in through Google search. That's how people are driven to our homepage. That's a ton of how we get new signups.
Okay. So they're coming to your homepage and then clicking on that action, that call to action on your homepage too.
Or at the bottom of the blog post that they looked up a blog post online, they searched for how to run an advocacy campaign or, like top 10 campaign slogans or, like any number of things that they're searching for, campaign strategy, you name the keyword. And then at the bottom, of the blog post, there's a sign up and they'll click on that and sign up. Sometimes that'll just drive them to the campaign workshop page. They'll like look at that and then sign up on the pop-up of the campaign workshop page. Whatever works.
Well, it sounds like it works. So that's why.
It's interesting. I mean, this is also part of it, right? Like in having done this for a while, we have like high standards, right? So, and it's like, and there's always something new in the land of email, right? Like people will like say, well, I have a Substack, right? Which to me is you have an email, right? I mean, it's a blog, right? So we blog every week. We then send out an email about that blog every week, right? And we've been doing that since 2013. So the combination of the consistent blogging, the consistent emailing, then we do another email to the whole list that is not about the blog that we do twice a month, right? So we do these weekly emails about the blog, then general emails about random things that we do twice a month. And we just do that consistently. Then we do social posts about the blog weekly. And that's kind of what we do. We used to do video, right? Videos like twice a month called Workshop Wednesdays. We've kind of scaled that back. We were trying to figure out how to reimagine that. Love your advice on that. But to me, consistency is the key on all of these things. You just have to be consistent.
Yeah, consistency is key, which is why you're, and I think you're using best practices as far as the amount of emails that you're sending out and, once a week and then the two extra. However, like it's pretty intimidating for some people. So I just want, to enforce that consistency is so important so that if you can commit to half of that or even a third of that, that's a good place to start just because.
But really, I'm here today as an intervention for Borzou about consistency, right? We're just
Hey, what I lack in consistency, I make up in zhuzh and pizzazz.
but no, I agree with you. It's like totally intimidating. And like, to be honest, when we started blogging in 2013, we used to blog like 2 to 3 times a week. And so we would do 150 posts a year. Now we're down to 52 posts a year. We have I'm telling you all the ways that we do this. We have a team, the company is 12 people, but we basically have a team of 8 people who blog. I basically write about 2 blogs a month, and then everyone else kind of pitches in. Then during our busiest season, we like really try and get ahead on content. So we're always trying to be 2 to 3 months ahead of time on the blogs. So we're writing way, way ahead of time. This is evergreen content. It's all optimized for search. And then we also now have a podcast. And so those podcast interviews turn into blog posts. And so that's about 12 pieces of content a year. That helps reduce the amount of blog posts we have.
Nice.
That might be. Is your podcast video also?
We're starting now. We just moved to Riverside. We were on a different platform for a while, but our podcast is coming out. Our new season is coming out probably in that October window starting. So like How to Win a Campaign, season 5. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts. There's 4 seasons up there now, so like you could dig into those, and then by time we get around to actually launching the new podcast, you'll be.
Well, I was going to say that might be the answer to your Wednesday video question, is clips from the podcast.
Is just putting fun video clips like this.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll see all the
Yeah, I
reels
don't
we
think
cut
you
out of
need
this one. It'll be
extra
great.
video necessarily. You got a
No
lot.
more.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, Martine, my business partner, who like works on the is in charge of marketing at the campaign workshop, will love the fact that you're saying we don't need to create more video content. He's
We
like,
don't
well,
see that to anybody. This is a first.
We're doing you a solid. So 2 things that I think are going to come up on a lot of the things we hit. One is like personality and community, right? So I think that's both why video is important, and I think that's why email is important, and I think your numbers are great. And a list of 4,500 people that 60% of opening is way more valuable than a list of 40,000 people where like 5% are opening it. And I think in general in the industry, we're seeing this trend of not looking for the bigger numbers, but looking for the tighter community and who's going to care more, who's going to be more plugged in, and what's going to matter more. And email's been great for us as well. And I did, I'm going to say call out Amanda, but that was my way of giving her props because she has been driving the consistency on that the entire time. Because I want to write an email when like I have a good idea, and she's like, "No, homie, it's email week. You got to. We need to send something."
Do it.
Yeah. But no, it's been great for us, and we have clients who sometimes don't want to send it and don't see the value for the same reason, right? Like maybe click-through rates aren't what they were, maybe people aren't buying from it immediately, but it's such an important long-term nurture. Right? We get so many deals from people we talked to 2, 6, 9, 12 months ago who stayed in the ecosystem, stayed on the list, saw something that, even as something as like when we switched our website to Webflow, we had like 3 people that are like, oh man, I want to do that. And just putting it out there makes such a big difference.
Well, so many things on this. One, it's like there is this built-in recency bias that we have in life, right? If you have talked to someone, you have conversations, you see something. I mean, frankly, this is like how I'm on this podcast today is because like I get Borzou's emails. Borzou's like, hey, another podcast. I'm like, hey, I could be on your podcast. And then like Borzou doesn't respond to my email. And then I see Borzou in person. I'm like, hey, how about for me? So.
That's my assistant's fault. The non-money making emails go in a different folder.
I thought it was Borzou doesn't respond to your email, so you send it to Amanda. That's what
I mean. I did that too, but that's probably right. But that whole idea of like having that community, having a 2-way conversation, and it is like super interesting. Like there are some people who I don't talk to for years, and then they'll respond to the email that I send on Saturday morning, right? Like, I mean, that I sent, I'm saying in quotations, on Saturday morning, and I have a team of people that work and are doing this. Tobias, who's the one who mainly writes these emails and does an amazing job, but then they're responding to me, and then I'm having a conversation based off of that. But it is, how do we build community? How do we engage? How do we have a personality as a company and keep that personality across all the stuff that's going on right now is challenging.
You gotta keep it on brand, baby.
Yeah.
I am gonna steal and try that Saturday morning thing. I've never.
Yeah, I used to do that with a client.
Did you?
It was actually, we did that. It was a construction bonds company. It was, we found that the sweet spot was actually 5 a.m. on Saturday morning is when we sent it out. And we had a really, not quite as high as your open rate, Joe, but it was, in the high 30s and getting the engagement that we wanted. So that worked out well. Yeah.
Let me ask you something else, and you can answer generically for yourself or for your clients. What are you doing for segmentation?
So we don't do a lot as a company for segmentation on our stuff. We do, like, what I'll tell you is we have a offering which is called TCW Advocacy, which are branded trainings around advocacy. So we do have a advocacy subset of the list that is specific to that we'll send out specific things around the training and around that we are doing segmentation. Been thoughtful about this list over time where it's a defined unit, so it's not as segmented as maybe it could be.
Okay. Is that also true for your clients mostly, or do they have their own?
Oh, no. The clients have tons of segments. I mean, and there's a lot of segmentation, and it's like, I mean, we'll say this, like, we don't we are usually sort of teaching people to fish on the email programs and not like doing the day-to-day emails for clients. There are a couple that we are doing emails for directly, but mostly we are working with large in-house communication staff on like figuring out content calendars and email things and stuff like that. That's a lot of what we're, when it comes to email programs, we are usually not day to day on delivering email programs for some of the large clients we work with.
Segmentation is a really difficult thing to outsource. Like we can make recommendations on stuff moving forward, but whatever you have in that list, someone who really knows those people has to go back and do it. Yeah. It's not something you can.
Well, the best thing is to import the list the right way the first time. It's segmented the first time. Yeah.
Then it's got,
correct.
Then it has to,
and as you're building it, segmenting it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's really important. But again, it is this whole idea of garbage in, garbage out. If you're not being careful about your list to begin with, how you're building the list, how you're growing the list, you can wind up having a really bad list. And, a lot of it also is this idea of culling your list, I mean, which we do a lot of, which is, there are people who get on a list who we just, will, if they're not engaging, they're not connected to us, we will really cull the list over time, so we're not storing people who are not opening emails. We are getting rid of those folks on the regular basis.
I'd like you to actually speak more about that, because that's something that I think a lot of people have fear over, just getting rid of people that might eventually engage or, so like, can you explain what the benefit is of getting rid of people who are not engaged?
Yes, I can. So first of all, it's money, right? So like if like we are a HubSpot user, we're still a HubSpot user, and they will charge you if you have more people on your list, right? We, have really worked to cull that list down. But I also think it becomes a vanity metric on list size where people are like, I'm an organization. I have a 20,000 person list, or I have a 100,000 person list. And we'll then have conversation with like, how many people of that open that? And they're like, well, we have really an engaged audience, then that's where your open rates are not true, right? So if you're sending out an email to all these people, it's also like, it's where you can, get blacklisted and have spam problems, and by constantly emailing people that are not opening or not engaging or constantly opting out of your emails. You really want to be cultivating a true audience for your organization, for your company. And so looking at it, I think quarterly is the minimum. You should be really looking at your list and saying, all right, who's opening, who's not, are we removing, and making sure you're doing that cleaning house about 4 times a year. That's the goal for us. Sometimes that slips and it's twice a year, but really trying to look at these things and really remove people in a thoughtful way. But it works for us.
So I think we talked a lot about email marketing, which, I think is beneficial for sure. What else do you have any hot takes about what is or isn't working in this space?
I mean, so what I'll say is for us, we still do posts on Instagram. That still works. I think LinkedIn does better than Instagram for us as a small business as far as engagement, like social. Facebook on paid for clients is actually still working, and I don't understand it, but it does work because I won't go on there, but it does work. And we are still getting engagement on Facebook ad campaigns. But what I'll also say is you have to test, and it doesn't work for every client. And what we have found for our own small business is Facebook for us as a business is not really working as far as doing organic anymore. We feel like LinkedIn for organic works very well, and Instagram somewhat.
Have you used LinkedIn advertising at all?
We have found it to be expensive when we have used it. You're laughing.
No, I just thought that was a funny reply.
I do think it's important to also to know who we're talking about using it for, right? Is it campaign workshop? Is it a really big advocacy issue? Is it?
I am saying for the campaign workshop. Right now I'm answering
for your company, just making sure. Okay.
Not for my clients, but for us.
Got it.
Right. We have found LinkedIn advertising to be expensive and not, we definitely, again, because LinkedIn is a subscription service and you pay to really be on there, right? I have a paid account on LinkedIn. I think the organic is better than most social platforms, and they allow you to have real organic content and real organic engagement. And we have good engagement both on my personal page as well as on the campaign workshop page. My personal posts do better than the campaign workshop does, but we are doing company content or company focus content on my personal LinkedIn page, and we get a lot of engagement.
Yeah, I think Amanda and I are very heavy on this founder-led marketing now. I do agree LinkedIn has the best organic reach, especially for businesses right now. I do agree that personal is better. I also think for a lot of people who don't want to do video, it's one of the few platforms where text still performs really well, right? Like,
100% agree, right?
yeah.
But again, it's like I used to do these Workshop Wednesday videos, and they would do okay there on LinkedIn. The video stuff, that was like the only place they did well. So we're trying to think again. I think like this is where we'll be doing more of the podcast clips.
So that the text does perform really well on LinkedIn, but they are really prioritizing video content. I call it like the TikTokification of social media. It basically everywhere has jumped on board. And we're seeing video go nuts on LinkedIn.
Well, specifically Reels are doing better on LinkedIn right now. The personal video stuff that was doing, if you were just recording a video and uploading it, that did really well when video first came to LinkedIn, because they would prioritize that over everything. You would see that first. If somebody posted a video, it'd be in your algorithm, like everybody would see it.
And then it went down.
Totally got down. But now it's similar with Reels. So they've adopted the Reels. So that's working right now. I don't think that's going to last either, because nothing ever does. So the text is...
No, but I mean, you have to be, this is the point. You have to be flexible with your marketing. I think it is this flexible and consistent, which is the challenge, right? Like, how do you then like go back to saying, all right, we're going to try this for 3 months. We're going to try this for a quarter and see how it works. I think like the testing of things, we do a weekly marketing meeting, right? And that like where we go and we look at our metrics and we talk about it, and we do that a half an hour a week. It works really, really well as a collection point. Again, this is a lot of time. You're hearing like all of these things that add up, but it works well for us.
What about call to actions for social?
So huge fan of call to actions. Think they are incredibly important. Again, like I am in the call to action business, whether it is advocacy work, political work, right? Understanding your call to action, testing different call to actions, again, testing different subject lines. All of those things are really powerful. But in social, I think, making sure you're like driving people to something, and frankly, one thing. I think often the mistake that people make in any of these platforms, I know Amanda and I are like in sync on this stuff, but it is just like the thing that drives me crazy. It's like, we're going to talk about 7 things in this video or in this blog or in this podcast or in this. And it's like, no, let's talk about like a thing and drive that home.
Yep. Agree completely. Got to focus, because otherwise you're just going to distract everybody away from everything. Yeah.
And then what else, just lead magnet wise? I know you have a ton of ebooks. I know you do webinars. Like, what do you think is super working? What do you think is not working right now?
So webinars actually still work. And webinars to me, I mean, we do, again, like Amanda, like if you're keeping track on my list here of all the marketing things we do a quarterly webinar, right? And it is... So, and the quarterly webinars do really well. I think that works well. Again, we do these trainings, these virtual trainings that we do for advocacy and for politics. Those are like a long webinar that actually people pay to be on, and those work very well. I think as long as you're figuring out how are you building community through the thing you're doing, then they engage well. So I think that's why people will still be on a webinar. We'll get like for a webinar, we usually get somewhere between 100 and 150 signups, and then about 40 to 60 people who are actually on the thing. Quite a drop of like from what the sign up is to who actually goes on. Then we send out the video of it after, but it is about a 50% drop from sign up to being on.
That's about right.
Yeah, that's normal. I think the perception that webinars might not be working anymore just stems from the word webinar, and people are just sick of like they see that word and then don't want to do it. So we've tried other ways to promote what is a webinar, like saying a virtual event or something of that nature works a lot better.
Totally. Training, workshop, right? Like, and again, the other thing that I'll say, like, across the board that I feel like, because Borzou, to try and get to actually answer your question, which was what is working now, is when you're right now, anything that we're doing around marketing is really couched with like, that you do today, right? Anything that is about now, right? Works very well. Like 10 things you can do for your campaign now, right? Anything that is focused on immediacy, customers to me seem to be very focused on solving immediate problems as opposed to long-term problems. So that is one tip that I will give you that seems to be working very well right now in our market.
I love that. I love that you referenced community again, because I do think that's where like personal brand and like founder led and, giving people something to latch onto really comes in. And I think the last thing, and this is something I've been preaching for a minute now, is it just has to be interesting, right? Like the emails got to be interesting. The webinar, workshop, training, whatever you call it, right? What is the topic? Is it something people care about? Is it new? Is it informative? Is it something that's going to give people a reason to show up,
And I think like people can detect the bullshit, right? So like part of the thing that like I will say is like we really take thought and some care into like what we do. Like every blog post has like a hand designed like little like art piece that goes along with it that our art director Kristen like works on and like really sort of digs into a piece of it. Each blog post is written by someone really like we're thoughtful about it, and the social goes with that. The webinars are led by us and have really thoughtful guests. If you're really thinking about it and it's not like crap, right? People are going to come and engage. And if it is, they're not going to engage.
Yeah, we obviously know this. Everyone else, if you don't know us, if you ran into any one of the three of us on the street, this is exactly how we are. We are this person, like it or hate it. Anywhere you go. And that authenticity, I think, bleeds into everything.
Totally. And again, like part of the thing that is going on, like a lot on social and a lot on marketing is like like the spamization of everything, right? Because there is so much volume and so much content. I still believe that like if you're purposeful in what you do, consistent, engaging, thoughtful, that's going to make your stuff stand out.
And then I know you were doing a ton of ebooks. Are you still making a bunch of new ones?
So we have about 12 ebooks on the site, right? And we've updated, we're in the process of updating the old ones. We are also like, we probably do a new one about once a year. The last one that we did, that we put out last year was around program evaluation, which I actually think is something that, is very important in my space, but to be honest, is like super important in the marketing world of like, when you're launching a program, do you have a process to evaluate whether it was successful or not? And so we do like a ton of work with our nonprofit clients around program evaluation. But even if you downloaded that ebook at thecampaignworkshop.com, it just took business instead of nonprofit. It's like the idea of evaluating what you're doing is critical, but that ebook did very well.
How long is the ebook? I'm just curious. I should look.
So I think it's about 40 pages this
Go
one.
download it, Amanda.
I know. I was like, I should just look at it.
But here's the thing that's amazing about ebooks, right? Is like when we started, right, we were like, we're going to write the greatest ebook ever. And it was like 200 pages. And then we just realized, you know what? In downloading an ebook, people care that you cover the topic, but it really doesn't have to be that long. And so our ebooks over time have become a lot shorter, but they still work and we still get really decent engagement. And frankly, this is a lot where people will search for the ebook and then they'll sign up for the email list. So it's like this, like by having all this content on our site, and we haven't monetized that at all. The way we monetize it is hopefully people read the stuff, they like us, they listen to the podcast, and then they hire us as client. They hire us, and we've gotten a lot of clients that way. And it's just that building that word of mouth. And there are people that will like, I'll meet at a conference or will say, oh, I know you. I go on walks with you every day. And that's like, I've never met this person in my life, but like they know me through my podcast or they have read, you're the campaign workshop guy. Oh yeah, I'm on your email list, right? And people will randomly reach out to us about something because of that relationship that we have.
Have you experimented at all with interactive content? Because we're seeing that that is a newer trend that's really, I don't, maybe that's not what I should call it, but that's what's working a lot of times where people go through assessments or surveys and then they kind of qualify or unqualify themselves and get them further into the funnel.
So it's interesting, right? I mean, yes, for clients, right? For us, for marketing, for the campaign workshop, we definitely have some interactive tools up on the website. We have like a, like some stuff that we've had on there for a while. Like one is we have a tools list that is an interactive tools list on 100 campaign tools you could use for marketing for political and advocacy campaigns. And you can divide it up by, are they free? Are they freemium? Are they monthly? Are they like, is it a social media tool? Is it a video editing tool? Is it a user generated content tool? So we have like all sorts of sections. We have an AI tool section, right? So like, it is super interactive, and that list, when we update it, gets a ton of downloads, like more than 10,000 a year, right? Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, we're working on something. We're working on like an interactive brand assessment that we're going to put on our website.
I think that's great, right? And so now these are questions that I get to ask you. How are you building that? What are you building that in?
Okay, so well, first of all, Borzou, this is an idea that I think Borzou had a million years ago and actually wrote out a bunch of questions, and then we just never did anything with it.
Yeah, it was like 7 years ago. I pulled it out.
And then I came about, I knew that this was a trend, and then people were talking about different applications that you could use to build something out like this. So we're using something called the Score app right now. We're testing it. We're having a meeting about it tomorrow. So I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be how we release it, but that's the attempt.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to steal that. I think that would be really cool for
actually, Joe, I'd love to send it to you to beta test it and let me know what you think.
Well, no, I mean, I'm saying beta testing it, but I mean, again, it's really transferable for like,
it'll make it easier for you to steal.
Campaign plan assessment or an advocacy assessment or a a program evaluation like assessment. We could easily create. So I think that I'd love to see how it works. And yes, I'm always happy to be your beta tester. So I tell you all the things you probably don't want to hear. So I'm there for it.
Yeah. And for everyone watching, Joe and Amanda are very comfortable telling me when I'm wrong or I fuck something up or.
I mean,
hey, I think those are the best kind of friends. I think that's the kind of friend I try to be for everyone. I have some friends who don't take it so well, but.
Yeah. But I mean, I think like the point is, it's like, it's good conflict, right? Like, I don't think conflict is bad. I think to me, like that I can have conversations with Borzou and Borzou could say to me, Joe, you're full of shit. And we could find a common ground is really amazing to have people.
I also firmly believe nothing gets better without criticism.
Yeah. And also this time, it's not unsolicited. We'll be asking for you to shit on it.
Great. Yeah, that's true. There are occasions where I unsolicitedly give you feedback. So
I will add, and I thought we were maybe going to get through an episode without AI coming up, but the V2 of this, probably in several years, will hopefully be a little more automated. So people can plug in their site, social, everything, and it'll do the analysis and give it back to you instead of.
So right now people have to self-score themselves. So you're asked a series of questions and then you give yourself a score based on, the criteria, and then come out.
He'll see everything pretty soon.
Yeah. I'm to everybody else.
But I mean, this is interesting to me. Like, this is where we're starting to experiment with AI. Like at the campaign workshop, we're like actually like looking at like, hiring an AI coach for the company, like to like really help our team better use it and make it be measurable and accountable, because I want to make sure we're all using it in like a focused and thoughtful way. It's super important. And I think one of the things that we can do as businesses is like literally support our team and how they're using AI. Right now, one of the things I've seen across the board is people are like, learn how to use the AI, figure that out, will ya? And that's not the way to do anything. So
yeah, we kind of started that way, but now we've given some more guidance, and we're because at first you don't know what you want them to learn. You just know you need to learn it.
Right.
So it was kind of a free for all at first, but we're much more focused now. So.
Yeah. I mean, about a year and a half ago, we developed an AI policy for the company, and the AI policy is good, right? But the problem is I think folks somewhat look at it as being like, here are the things I can't do with AI versus like, oh no, we need to be using AI. There are definitely limits, and like, listen, copyright and creative stuff is to me like super important, and it's one of those. That's why we have those limits there. But we also need to create the lanes to be like, no, we also need to be thoughtful and use it as a creative partner as far as like thinking about writing and thinking about ideas and using it for research. There's lots of different incredible things that you can be doing with it, but you have to drive it and think about what your learning points are.
All right.
Any favorite AI tools that you all use, really like?
So I actually just did a big call with someone about, Claude versus Gemini versus ChatGPT versus Anthropic, right? Even though I didn't really realize, even though Claude and Anthropic are kind of the same company, they work differently, and including the AI agents and Manus and DeepSeek, right? There are just so many options. I actually have a graph I can send to you about kind of like they gave me on what's best for what.
Love it.
And a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen, Joe McClinsky is like pitting them against each other now. He'll put something in ChatGPT and he won't like the answer, and he'll put it in Claude and be like, I needed this, but ChatGPT gave me this. They suck, and Claude will be like, yeah, they suck. And he'll do something better. And then he'll put it in Gemini and be like, oh,
yeah,
ChatGPT and Claude suck. Can you beat that?
I like Claude because I feel like the writing comes out better in Claude, but it's like it's a judgment, right? Whatever. I like the way Claude phrases their answers better than like the way that it's phrased to me in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that what you're using mostly then?
We're also like looking at like some sort of closed spaces for our work. So like experimenting and looking at that. So more to come on that. Like
I can edit it out if you want.
No, it's fine. I mean, I think, no, totally fine. I mean, to me, it is this idea of being really thoughtful about what are the tools you're using, how are you using it, like, and just frankly, having some goals, like anything in your business, you need to have goals around AI.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm digging into, and this is going to be a longer side project, is building the framework of what I want done. I got a buddy who's like trying to coach me through this, where you can plug in and out a different LLM. Right? So like we can build our own, it's not a closed system, right? But our process. And then if Claude starts outperforming ChatGPT, we can just remove ChatGPT from the equation and plug Claude in, right? Or if Gemini
I think
gets
that's
ahead,
a great idea.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that. That
I'm
sounds
at the very infancy of it, but I will, as I start learning it, I will definitely let you know.
Because I think to me, these things are going to evolve. Some of these tools are going to be better than others. Some of the ways that you use it are going to be different. And the other thing that we're trying to do at the company is like working on this for like the folks that analyze like our profitability is one benefit for AI, and they're going to have different needs than the folks who do our direct mail or digital production work are going to have different set of needs versus the people who are doing social media and copywriting. Those are going to have different sets of needs. And so it really is department by department, or as we like to say, team by team, really figuring out how the teams are going to be using this in different ways and digging in and having goals that way.
Can I ask you a super selfish question that like will maybe be interesting to 5 people listening to this? Have you thought about or gotten AI involved at all in like your project management and planning yet?
Not yet, right? So we have like some, that is like super interesting for me. We haven't, I mean, listen, we use like all the tools you could think of that are typical that are not AI to do project management stuff, but AI is not involved in the planning or the deadline stuff. And I think to me, that would be super interesting.
Yeah, we're not there yet either, but it strikes me as an excellent use case of having something constantly monitoring budgets, timelines, tasks. Is something late? Like, did we miss something? Or even going through meeting transcripts and making sure that like all the tasks are accounted for and everything's on track. I'm not aware of anything like doing that great yet, but it seems like a big
you could create an
opportunity
agent
area
to do some of that and figure out like how to work on some of those particular tasks.
Yeah, well, so we use ClickUp for project management, which not only obviously there's a web version, so everything can be accessed that way, but also it's our meeting note taker. So all the meeting notes, video, everything's really accessible if we could train it the right way. I'll add it to my list.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my list.
Thank you. Thank you, Borzou.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, please.
All right.
Well,
I'm out.
you're out. You're
I'm out of topics.
okay.
I'm happy to keep chatting,
I mean,
but I've reached
so
the end of my agenda.
infographics. Do you guys do infographics? Do those work for you?
We do infographics. They do. We actually haven't done one in a while now that you mention it.
No, we've done.
Yeah?
Well, because we do a bunch for like pitch decks too. So it's not just like
Well, I think he meant for us. Or you mean for us or for our clients?
Both.
Oh, so for clients, we do them all the time. For clients, we do a ton of pitch decks, infographics.
But for you yourselves, like, again, this always becomes like the cobbler's children have no shoes, right? So it's like, do you all implement them to market your company is what I'm asking.
I sent you guys an idea over Slack the other day that was an infographic. But I mean, so it's not that we're not thinking about them, but we haven't done one recently. Just like Borzou said, we haven't really done one for ourselves recently. We go through different stages of concentrating on different things. Right now, it's that self-assessment, and then we're doing the podcast now. And before this, we were doing Ask Us Anything lives on social, and before that, we were doing webinars. And yeah,
So a bizarre,
for you?
like, I mean, it's going to make sense once I bring this up, but like one thing we were doing was just like looking at all the things, right, that we like do as a company marketing, and then we're like, we actually have a presence on Pinterest, and Pinterest was all of our infographics. Who knew, right? But like there were, and so like it's just like you're finding these weird pockets. We do them like somewhat. Again, it's a few a year, and some of it is the custom artwork that is already in the blog, maybe an infographic, right, that we're putting out in a different way. Like, so we're repurposing it. But yeah.
I mean, that's a you thing, Borzou. You are all about Pinterest and how everything.
Yeah. So I'm. This is tangential, but we post everything everywhere for us, ourselves, and our clients. Obviously, if you can focus on one platform, that's like if you have the bandwidth to do different content for Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, that's amazing, right? But like, who's got the time or money, right? And no, we found Pinterest to be a big traffic draw for a lot of our clients, not just those that are in like architecture or design, like aesthetically interesting industries, but for anyone, right? Like it's unbelievable because whether you're posting on really any social platform, but this is most true of Pinterest if you direct post, or LinkedIn if you post as, oh my God, I'm blanking on what it's called. As like an article.
Yeah.
You trade on their domain ranking, right? And so your LinkedIn post starts ranking really high on Google, and same thing on Pinterest. Your Pinterest post starts ranking super high on Google.
Yeah, I mean, Pinterest, I think, is kind of a sleeper, like that we've just sort of fallen into it, but haven't done as much as we probably could have. So, yeah, cool.
Is that our next email, Amanda? Is that our next email?
This
Guys,
is fun.
should we do, hold on. I'm going to come up with a new marketing idea right now, which is maybe already an idea that exists. Should we do guest emails? No.
You don't do an email about the podcast? You don't?
No, I mean, like, you write an email to our people about Pinterest, and it'll come from Nickel Bronx, from Joe Fuld. No,
I mean, it's like a guest blog post, and then you would.
It's like a guest blog post, but an email, yeah.
Yeah.
I would be happy to do that if you think it would be.
Amanda
funny
seems to
or
think it's a bad idea. We'll noodle on it and get
Yeah, no,
back to
I'm seeing like Amanda just wants to end this right now.
Well, I do have a meeting like right now, but yeah.
That's okay. I always go one question too far, Joe.
Well, I mean, so the way I end my like podcast is I always ask, is there a movie, book, or this is how I end a movie, book, or podcast that you're watching or listening to right now that you think would be cool? Do you have one that you're into right now?
Me and Amanda have been like doodling on the same book a lot for the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
but I saw the new Superman movie. It's unbelievable. If anyone has
Really?
not seen it, unbelievable. If anyone hasn't seen it, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not going to go, but 10 out of 10 recommend. Really?
Do you like the James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
Yes.
I think you'll love it then.
I love those movies too. Yeah, I saw the preview.
I'm
wanted to see it.
skeptical.
Listen,
No,
you can wait till it's on Max
I
and let me
did
know.
go see the last Wes Anderson movie. I saw that in the theater, and that was great. I just saw that a few weeks back. I do totally recommend that. Worth it if you like Wes Anderson, right? If
I
you
love Wes
don't-
The
Anderson.
movie. Let me look at it.
What is it?
Oh no, I should have looked it up. Okay. Yeah.
It's okay. It doesn't.
Phoenician?
You know what? Sorry, what?
The Phoenician Scheme.
The Phoenician Scheme. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I hadn't
It's
even
such a simple, easy title, Joe. How did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then, I mean, I just finished a book called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke, and I totally just wrote a post on LinkedIn about it.
Okay, so I back in the day, did a 7 questions. There's a 7 questions interview with Annie Duke about thinking in bets on my website. I will
No way.
put that in the show notes. Yes. Just it
Love it.
wasn't on a podcast. We didn't talk, but I sent her the questions. She answered them. Amazing.
Nice. Yeah, no, she's brilliant.
I love how we see that was like tied together.
And I will send that out in the email as well.
Fantastic.
All
The guest email.
right. Thank you, Joe. You were amazing as always. Thank you, Amanda. You were also amazing as always. Thank you, everyone who watched. We will have tags so you can follow Joe, Campaign Workshop, me, Amanda, everywhere and somewhere, depending on where you're watching this.
And then Amanda, like in the spring, maybe we'll perform comedy together.
Yeah, maybe. I do. I want to do it. It's just
Amanda, it's July. Just say yes. You have a ton
yes.
of runway.
Yeah, I know. I'm so bad. Yeah.
Or maybe I will come perform comedy with you. I am going to be in Florida in December, so that may be easier.
Good
so.
to know. Yeah. I'll let you know if I'm doing a show around then and can bring you in. I'll let you know.
It's great. I will write something just for this occasion.
Okay.
It will also have plenty of interesting stuff going on.
Borzou, I still think you should perform. But anyway, we will talk more. Thank you guys. This was so much fun. We should do it again.
You guys. 100%.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.